This time, I've only included anime up till the end of the last season, since it isn't fair to judge this season's anime since they aren't over yet. There's always the 5 tiers: S, A, B, C, and F, with S being the best, F being the worst. There's a ton of anime to cover, so grab your popcorn. This is gonna be long. Let's go! Agents of the Four Seasons, Dance of Spring. Alrighty, we're kicking things off with a work from the author of Violet Evergarden. This is pretty much about the Four Seasons being real people, then the Agent of Spring waking up back to find love. With studio and Violet Evergarden writer Kana Akatsuki, teaming up feels like one of the best team-ups of the century, and it delivers. At first I thought it was too conceptual, but I feel like it did a good job giving us a nice, cozy romance. It didn't get me invested like Violet Evergarden did, but it's still a pretty great anime. This goes to A tier. Always a catch. Mimi trained her whole life to inherit her family's duchy until her baby brother showed up and made that plan pointless overnight. Now she's got to marry fast, so she heads to a neighboring kingdom's academy to find a husband with her best friend Ada's help. I think you can define this as an okay anime. It doesn't do anything special in terms of shoujo anime, but it isn't necessarily a bad anime either. Besides, kind of like Mimi as a character, but that's the only good point I can give it. So this goes to B tier. An observations log of my fiancée who calls herself a villainess. Now this is one of the good villainess anime, and this time it's from the prince's point of view, since the villainess straight up goes and admits she's a villainess and wants to ruin his life, but she keeps failing at it. I feel like this is the kind of twist villainous anime need these days. At the start of the anime itself, Bertia actually tells Cecil about the Otame game plot instead of hiding it from him, and the slow burn between them is also pretty good, so this is going straight to the A tier. Anyway, I'm falling in love with you, season 2. I'm not a huge fan of reverse harems, and I am definitely not the kind of guy to watch a second season of it, but I already watched the first season and decided to give it 3 episodes a shot, and then got spoiled about the ending. This time, it's about one of the guys, Kizuki, asking to be alone with our main female love interest, which kicks things into chaos. Now, I don't want to spoil the ending, but personally, I'm not a huge fan of it, and I'm not a fan of the characters either, so this goes to F tier. If you want a good reverse harem, go to watch Romantic Killer. Champignon Witch. Time for some fantasy. This is about Luna. She is a black witch hiding out in a cottage deep in the Black Forest, and a poisonous mushroom sprouts wherever she walks. The kingdom only tolerates white witches, so getting caught means execution for her. When she saves a dying boy named Lise and learns he's fated to become the end of all things, she offers to train him so he doesn't have to die for it. Now, if we ignore the talking animals and magic solving everything, I feel like there is a really good fantasy anime in here. It might not be a masterpiece, but this is the kind of thing that I personally enjoy. Yes, the pacing has some issues, but Luna and Lise carry this show for me, and since this is on my personal list, this goes to A tier. Even a replica can fall in love. Want to hear a strange story? Whenever Sunao's sick, or just doesn't feel like school, a replica of her gets summoned to take her place, and nobody knows she exists. She starts talking to a classmate named Sanada, who becomes the first person to notice she's not the real Sunao. There's some good stuff here. This builds an actual mythology around what it means to be a copy of someone, and it gives the non-human leads a good personality too. The bad stuff is that it's after its biggest gut punch moment, the back half chickens out and rushes to a soft ending. So this goes just straight to C tier. Gals can't be kind to otaku? Gal anime has always been a hit or miss, but this is definitely a hit, and I love it. It's about an average stereotypical otaku meeting 2 gals named Amane and Ijichi. Ijichi becomes friendly with them while Amane is an otaku, so the 3 of them become BFFs. This is perfection. It creates stereotypes and breaks them at the same time. Yes, our otaku guy is stereotypical, but the gals themselves step away from the regular rude gal trope and become 2 of the best girls of the season. It's also nice how we got specific episodes dedicated straight to their pasts. This goes to S tier. Haibara's Teenage New Game Plus. This is about Natsuki, who gets thrown back in time to relive his high school life and date this girl called Hikari. I know, there have been a lot of go back in time, fix your school life anime to the point it can become its own genre, but this still keeps everything fresh and even has a fun hook. I'm usually a fan of love triangles, but not a fan of this love triangle. But that's the only thing that held me back, so this goes to B tier. Hana-Kimi. We've We've got a good old shoujo plot next. Mizuki moves from the US to Japan just to attend the all-boys school where her idol, high jumper Izumi Sano, studies. She disguises herself as a boy to get in and ends up rooming with Sano himself. Now I know some people are losing their minds over a girl living in a boys' dorm and how the anime played this as a joke, but at this point, shoujo anime has gotten past with way worse premises. And I went with a pretty neutral point of view and thought this was a nice cozy shoujo anime, so B tier. High School Kimengumi. Did you know that this was actually an 80s manga? This is about 5 chaotic boys known as the Kimengumi, who rule the halls of Ichijo Junior High. A new transfer student, Yuikawa, and her friend Che Uru get pulled into the chaos as soon as they step into school. I'm someone who loves old manga, so for me, this fits right up my alley. Now that said, some of the jokes are obviously not going to be valid in 2026, and the animation is not going to hold up in 2026. But if you ignore those two, this is a really great and underrated anime with those fun 80s cast. You know what? Screw it. I'm putting this in A tier. I made friends with the second prettiest girl in my class. Oh, come on. The title itself tells you what to know. And this was the most popular romance anime of last season. I know popular doesn't always mean good, but in this case, I really love it. The wins are big. Asanagi is one of the best written female leads this season. The low-key hangout chemistry feels pretty great, and that found comfort vibe hits way harder than the average rom-com setup. This goes to S tier. I want to end this love game. This is my Kaguya-sama of 2026. This is about two childhood friends, Yukiya and Miku, who play a game where they confess love to each other, and whoever blushes first loses. Thing is, they're both in love with each other. Man, it's so nice to see an anime that starts with the couple acknowledging they love each other. For that alone, this deserves an S rank, but unlike Kaguya-sama, the jokes kind of get very repetitive. But then again, the direction of the show gives a really wholesome and cute vibe I haven't seen in much romance anime, so this goes to A tier. And the clear Moonlit Dusk. Time for another shoujo anime, and this is one of the things that I looked forward to the most. This is about Yui, who gets called the school's prince for her tall, composed, boyish look, and then, like every shoujo anime, the school's most popular guy finds her interesting. If this keeps the pace of the first half of the show, this would have been a straight up A tier, but personally, I didn't like the way Yui's character transformed. The whole school prince theme somehow fades into the background too, so the best I can do is send this thing to B tier. Killed again, Mr. Detective. Oh man, you don't know how much I was hyped for a detective anime, but boy, oh boy, they fumbled it so hard. The catch here is that the main character keeps ending up as the murder victim in his own investigations and wakes up with a waifu by his side. Now, how does someone screw such a potentially good premise? The mysteries barely require any deduction. More than half the runtime is rom-com filler instead of detective work, and Sakuya shrugging off his own murders kills any tension the premise should have. But remember that second point I said? I know people hated the rom-com stuff, but it carried the show for me, so I'm gonna be generous and put this in C tier. Love Through a Prism. Netflix did something right with a romantic killer, then did something amazing with Love Through a Prism. This is about Lily, a Japanese exchange student in the early 1900s London, chasing a spot at the prestigious St. Thomas Art Academy, and then runs into Kit, another aristocrat. Honestly, the only thing I hated was the love triangle that came somewhere in the middle, but apart from that, the visuals are stunning. The voice work from Atsumi Tanezaki and Koichi Uchiyama is so awesome, and the slow atmospheric pacing, great background art, and two imperfect characters trying to find perfection. This is perfection itself, so this goes to S tier. Marika's love meter malfunction. I remember watching an anime called If Her Flag Breaks, where a guy sees visual novel flags for heroines. It's pretty much that, except it has a love meter and the main girl's love meter is at 0. The manga itself is pretty great, but the anime is really bad. No, I'm not saying this because it has fan service. I'm saying that because the fan service was done really badly. So, sorry horny bros, this goes to F tier. Mistress Kanan is devilishly easy. Speaking of fan service, this is how you do it right. This blends a nice homeschool premise with a demon called Kanan who gets confessed to by a high schooler. This is like someone combining an ecchi anime with Grand Blue level comedy. The facial expression comedy is genuinely funny, then leads have a cute, slow stress dynamic, and it already has earned a second season for a reason. This goes to A tier. Part of the intrusion, I'm home. I need to be upfront. I didn't manage to be fully finished with this anime, mainly because I probably wasn't the target audience, but what I can say is, if you are the target audience, there is a nice fun anime in here. It's a reverse harem show about a girl living with two hot neighbors who both have their attention fixed on her. The good old cliche stuff happens, but it's animated nicely and the character designs are great, so this goes to C tier. Reborn as a cat. Here Here, a girl becomes a cat. That's it. Now, this isn't the anime adaptation of Catwoman, but the whole girl turned cat meets hot guy premise sounds good on paper. You could almost call this 50 Shades of Cat the tamer version. But there's a problem. The animation. The majority of animation here is CGI, but if you ignore the Genshin Impact style animation and focus on the story, you can put this to a decent C tier. Rent a Girlfriend Season 5. This goes to F tier, don't ask why. If I see a comment asking why, I'm gonna find you and hit you with a bat. Tamon's B-side. It's honestly nice to watch a shoujo anime, especially an idol anime done right. Utage lives with her favorite idol group Face, and especially their center, Tamon. One day, when working at her house cleaning job, she gets assigned to clean the house of Tamon. My only issue here, also something other people pointed out, was Utage's crazy obsessed behavior. Really hope it wasn't romanticized as much, but if you ignore that, everything from character development, art to the romantic pacing is perfect. JC staff really nailed this one, so this goes to A tier. The Angel Next Door spoils me rotten too. Oh man, I'm so sad to put this in A tier because this is one of the stuff that I hoped would go to S tier. But by the second season, we already had seen both sides of My Hero and Amane, and now that they're already a couple, the romantic tension is dissolved a lot. But this show still knows how to keep things wholesome and interesting. There's no annoying love triangles, which is something the fans loved about season 1, and My Hero still steals the show whenever she's on screen, so this deserves the A tier. The Invisible Man and his soon-to-be wife. This goes to S tier. If you ever told me at the start of the year I'd be putting an anime with a furry on the poster to S tier, I would have pulled a shotgun on you. But this is one of the most mature and well-written romance anime I've seen in a while. This is about Yako, a blind woman working at a detective agency alongside Tonome, an invisible man whose ability makes him perfect for the job. It's a genuinely rare adult romance with zero love triangles or school drama, and combining that with the fantasy race world building doubles and the great animation makes this one of the best adult workplace romance anime out there. Like I said, this goes to S tier. The Irregular at Magic High School, the movie Yotsuba Succession Arc. Heads up, this one's a movie, not a series. It adapts the franchise's Yotsuba Succession Arc, where Tetsuya and his sister Miyuki get pulled into the political mess of who's set to inherit control of the powerful Yotsuba clan. If you're a fan of the series, it delivers. Solid art direction, a returning cast that still has great chemistry, and one of the best arcs from the light novel getting animated. But on the bad side, Miyuki is still annoying. Some stuff from the light novel gets skipped fast. Yes, I read the wiki page, so I know. And I feel the romance is still pretty flat. So this goes to B tier. The Klutzy Class Monitor and the Girl with the Short Skirt. I did a pretty detailed review on this anime as well, and if you want, you can check that out. This is about a very strict class monitor and a girl who wears short skirts. I don't know why I just said that because the title pretty much says it. Let me get this straight. This is cliche, and the animation isn't the best, so if you go here checking for something original, this might not be it. But if you want one of those opposites attract stories done right, then I feel like this does it really, really well. So for that, I send this to B tier. The Ramparts of Ice. This is about Koyuki, who had some bad experiences in middle school and now tries to put out the cold persona to reject anyone. The two boys, Minato and Yota, along with her friend Miki, refuse to be scared off and actually get to know her. Look, I'll straight up tell you what I like. Strong character writing, a heroine who feels human instead of a trope, and a slow burn structure that trusts the audience to sit with nice and quiet moments. I know the male characters might not be everyone's favorites, and I also felt like the rest of the characters apart from the main four were not the best. If this was a tightly focused story on a girl overcoming her traumatic past with the help of three friends, this would have gone to S tier, but for now, this goes to A tier. The Villainess is adored by the prince of the neighbor kingdom. Okay, I really didn't like this one very much, and it's definitely not the best Villainess anime out there. Tiara Rose remembers her past life as a gamer right as her fiancé Heart Knights and publicly dumps her for the game's actual heroine. Then, surprise surprise, the neighboring kingdom prince comes and starts falling for her. At this point, I've watched so much Villainess anime, nothing feels special anymore, and this just helps it. Tiara Rose has basically zero agency of her own despite being the lead. The villainous premise never actually pays off since she's never once villainous, and the plot mostly just happens to her instead of because of her. But since the visuals are good and has some drama in the middle, I'll drop this to C tier. The Warrior Princess and the Barbaric King. This got a couple of delays and finally landed this season. Like the title says, it's about a warrior princess being captured by a barbaric king and then realize the barbaric king's hot and then simping for him. I know some of y'all complained about the Stockholm Syndrome, but come on, this is way better than whatever the heck Attack on Titan pulled with Ymir Fritz. Anyways, Fiora and Sierra actually fight side by side as equals instead of the usual damsel setup, and world building around elves, dwarves, and fairies is very original, and the chemistry is pretty great too. The anime fandom hates it. I love it. Yes, bring in your pitchforks. I'm gonna put this to A tier. What you gonna do about it? There was a cute girl in the hero's party, so I tried confessing to her. This is about a demon simping for the cute girl in the hero's party, and for me, it was pretty entertaining. Then I checked around some forums and realized the anime dropped a ton of stuff in the manga, and the animation budget falls off hard too. I'd say this is best watched as a slice of life anime rather than an epic fantasy anime. And since I like the chemistry of the characters despite the bad stuff, this goes to B tier. Tune in to The Midnight Heart. It's honestly nice to get something focusing on a high school club back again. I miss those kind of shows. This is about Arisu, who has a late night radio host he loves but cannot find her. Now he's in the broadcasting club of the school, and there are 4 girls who sound exactly like that. Now this one goes to B tier. Don't get me wrong, the main character and the girls are far better than your average harem anime cast, but the production really screwed some moments over, especially in animation. You and I are polar opposites. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner! This is clearly the king of the season. It's about a cheerful girl falling for the silent guy and the guy telling her he likes her too. This is the best because it does the opposites attract trope right. Makes them a couple in the first episode and even gives us entertaining side couples. Miyu is also one of my favorite characters because she is someone who steps outside the usual tropes. So this goes to S tier. You can't be in a rom-com with your childhood friends. Alright, this is pretty simple. We got 2 childhood friends sipping for the main character, and that's just it. And that's just it is the problem. If you go here for a good rom-com, then you'll probably get it. But you won't get anything new in terms of originality. It's got the good old high school arcs like the festivals and whatnot, and as always, it ends without any progression from either side. I watched this after watching about 4 rom-coms straight, so I might be a bit biased, but I'm sending this to B tier. Yowayowa Sensei. Oh my god, what is my life? I can't believe we're finishing off this video with an ecchi anime. I never should have done this in alphabetical order. Anyways, this is about a guy discovering his scary sensei Hiroi is actually pretty clumsy in real life. Like I said, if the fan service is done right, then it obviously gets what the target audience wants. And this time, the fan service is done right, but the story goes outside the fan service, and our main character's personality is pretty thin, so this goes to B tier. Alrighty, that's it. We got some really great S tier anime so far. As always, mention your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video.